2026 has been a great year for music already. So many major artists have dropped. A$AP Rocky dropped, J. Cole dropped, Don Toliver dropped, Yeat is about to drop, Ye's about to drop. The producer community has been dropping VSTs, so many sick sample packs, analog lab banks. Everyone has just been cooking. Yeah, so today I've been feeling inspired. I wanted to make a beat from scratch. I also dropped my free guitar sample pack, Guitar Artifacts. It's completely royalty free. You can check that out at reallysafe&sound.com. I'll leave the link below for you guys. And without further ado, let's get to cooking. All right, so I've been getting a lot of stuff, especially over Christmas. I know it's a little late from Christmas now, but I bought so many different VSTs. That's like the best time to buy stuff. The one thing I've been wanting to use is Fraction by Viome. This is a really, really sick VST. Let's try to find. Okay, yeah, that's sick. Let's use this. I'm gonna be working in C minor today as well. We'll just make something like dark. Let's see what else we have in here. Keys. I want something a little bit more plucky. Actually, no, that's dope. Yeah, that's dope. We'll do that. We're gonna do a tri-loop twist. 5, if you pitch it up 5 from the 1 chord, so C minor pitched up 5 will be the 4, which is F minor. And then you can pitch down the top note. So yeah, you can do that twice, super easy, something like that. I'm also gonna save this shit because I don't want my shit to crash. Because I have a feeling it's going to. Let's just do that now. That's super easy. Cool. I like to immediately just get like a bass set of chords, some bass going under it just to, you know, get the vibe. Option V if you want ghost notes. I'm on Mac too. Saving this shit continuously. So if this crashes, I'm saving this stuff on repeat. I don't want this to crash on me. Because it probably will. I think I'm gonna go in for like maybe like a little top melody. I'm gonna use something from Multi Keys from Keon, Essential Audio. I love this stuff here. It's got some really good. previous stuff. Let's throw a fragments on that. I think I'm gonna do the machine gun. Obviously we're gonna mix this as we go. I'm not really adding too much to it now, but this is a nice little base layer. Split by channel. Oops. And then drag that in like that. People will get stuck at this point, right? A lot of people will get stuck at this point. So what you can do is now just create variation with what you have already, right? So we've got the fraction chords. So what I can do is make this unique. You can just right click this little MIDI key right here, and I'll highlight this bit so that I can go in and kind of see what I have. I can mute everything else. Right, so it's going from a 1 to 4 back to it's kind of like going back to the 4 to the 1. I kind of wanted to go to the 6, right? So since this is unique, we can actually no, we'll go, if you go down 5 from the 1 chord, you'll get to the 5 chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll get to G minor. And then you can just kind of play around. I want it to be on the 6 actually, so it'll be G sharp major. You can bring this note up. And then 6 to 3. Again, this is harmony degree. You don't have to know music theory. It's kind of just counting. Music theory is a lot of counting, scale degree, all that stuff. You have 7 notes in a major or minor scale, and each note has a specific Roman numeral tied to it. So it'll be like the dominant chords, which is the 5. You gotta, it's just the more you make music, the more you'll learn. Just kind of follow along and you'll kind of get the hang of it as we go. So. So 6, let's go 6 to the, yeah, we'll go 6 to the 5. We can copy this over, right? Something like this. So altogether I have and then what you'll need to do is make the bass unique. Copy all the bass notes here. Command C. Go into here, and then Command V. Bring it over. playing this section over and over again. If you just have it playing this section over and over again, it's gonna get boring. So variation is where you're gonna spice things up. And the more chords you know within the scale, so a diatonic scale, which is all the chords in the scale, because you can play whatever you want, essentially. There's no rules to music. You can do whatever you want. But the brain likes specific things. And it's just all to your preference. But generally, diatonic is when you're playing the 7 notes within the major or minor scale, or whatever scale that you pick. So in this case, we picked C minor. So I'm just using all the notes that are in C minor, which makes it diatonic. So the more of that you use, the more fleshed out, the more full, the more open your beat can sound. But you don't want it too crowded because, again, this is for a producer to be on. Or sorry, this is for a rapper to be on. So you gotta save room for the rapper. So in my opinion, this is pretty cool. I like this so far. Another thing we can do, save as you go as well, because if your shit crashes, you're gonna be out of luck. I really like Teletone Audio Solfi. I really like to use their like a live drum kind of sound in this. Stretch this out. Velocities a little bit too. And once you get a good rhythm going, variation is always going to sound best in these. So the end of the second bar, this bit here, and the end of the fourth bar, this bit here. And again, it's just the same thing over here, right? So it's the end of the 6th bar here and the end of the 8th bar, which is here. You can do variation anywhere you want, but those are kind of where things will start to swell up and come back and loop. Those are like kind of the loop points as well, right? So if you remember that and use the variation to switch things up here, right? Repeats. To the brain that it likes variation. It's recognizing patterns and it wants to, it's unexpected. So it's like, ooh, the brain is like, ooh, shit, that shit's spicy. That shit's spicy, boy. And the cool thing with Solfi too is that you can actually change the tone. So if I wanted to go into the hi-hat, I could change it if I wanted to, you know what I mean? It's a lot of control over that. So let's go into the snare too, because I do like the live snare. Change each sound individually in the drum kit, which is dope. I really like that. Okay, there we go. Turn that up. That's dope. Just on its own. That's dope. Let's get a kick in there too. I really like Sapger's Anemia. I think that's what it's. I can't pronounce that. I think it's Anemia. Some good stuff in there. feel it out too, you know what I mean? Like let it ride, let the beat play, let the beat loop. I might even change that to here. Just number one. Same thing here. Another one here. Another one here. And then we can go back into Soulfy. And we can kind of make a little breakdown here. That was dope. Because that's kind of how the drums are played too, you know what I mean? Like you kind of want to replicate drums, you want to replicate a lot of the stuff that's actually happening in actual music when people play live instruments. Let's push this over. Yeah, that's dope. All right, this is the full thing that we got so far. I went into this section here and made a variation on the second bit. So I added variation on this bit here, and add a variation on this bit here. I made it a little busier on that second bit, again, because the chords go down, so we want the melody to kind of go up, matching that. One goes down, one goes up. All right, we got the kick track. We can make this mono too if we wanted to hit it in the center. Super simple. All I added was a limiter and a soft clipper on the master. And we have our sound shifter that I pitched down one as well. And that's it. That's all we have so far, right? So the last thing that we can do, this is enough. This is enough for a rapper to rap on. Super simple, still dark. One little thing that we can add too that I love to add just to have some fun is a mini V. And I have a preset here called Lucky Man 2. I think there's already a preset in Arturia called Lucky Man in the MIDI V, and I just tweaked it to make it my own. It's going to be in the Underdog Analog Bank, and I'm going to drop at reallysafe&sound.com. But for now, let's just have some fun and play something off the top. So what you can do is right-click on the keyboard at the top. The root note is on C, and we're at minor natural Aeolian. So that way, anything that you play on the keyboard is going to be in key. So you can do this if you don't know how to play the piano. I know how to play the piano, so let's rock. Let's rock with something here. So what I'm gonna do is go into a new pattern, and I'm going to add that all the way across the bottom, like this. And I'm just gonna let the beat ride. No metronome. Let's use a 3 count in, and that way you should be able to see it. Something like that, you feel me? And then we can just take that off and then let it ride. And that's gonna be the full beat. You know, again, you can add snare rolls at the end. You can take the chords from the fraction, both variations, add a layer on top. You can add pads, same chords. So all you would need to do is take this, copy and paste this into a new, let's say we added, the augmented grand piano. And then you just take these same chords, put them in here. Right, so then we can actually add this in its own Take this, and we can insert one. And then this way, when we copy and paste this over, we can take this, add it here, like that. All right, so you have a little bit of variation as you go along. And it's that easy to add variation to flesh out a beat, but that's the full beat. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm dropping Underdog Analog Lab Bank at reallysafe&sound.com. You can get the Guitar Artifacts free guitar sample pack at reallysafe&sound.com. Check out the link below and leave a thumbs up and subscribe. See ya.